Hello and thank you for joining me. I'm Heather Forgan of stampandnelly.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator based in the UK. Today's project is this cute little box decorated on the front and the back. Has this little belly band with a ribbon. You can then open this piece here and got an extra little message in there, and it has a bar of chocolate inside, but you can also put in a gift card as well. So this is the project that we are making in our November in-person classes, and I've also sent out some classes in the post to members of my team and to some of our customers that are not able to come along to the class. So I've done a separate introduction for them because they're getting a private video, but we will now be following along together to actually make another one of these. So what you will need to make this gift box is a piece of card that measures 8 inches by 5 3/4. You need 2 pieces of designer series paper that measure 4 1/2 by 2 1/4. I'm using paper from the online exclusive Shining Christmas, and a third piece of paper that is 4 1/2 by 1 3/4 inches. You will need a piece of card. That's clearly not correct, Heather. I'll trim that down. A piece of card that is also 4 1/2 by 1 3/4. I'm going to have to check my kits before I post them that I've got the right size. Then you've got 2 pieces of white card that measure 2 1/2 by 1 1/4. If you're receiving the kit, one of them will have some sticky back plastic on there, or tear and tape. You'll need a few dimensionals and a piece of white herringbone ribbon that's approximately 10 1/2 inches long. Let me trim that and then I'll come back with my scoring tool to do the score lines. Okay, so I have my simply scored board, and I have my piece of card with the short side at the top, so that's the 5 3/4 and the 8 inches down the side there. I want to score that at 1/2 inch and 5 1/4 inches. Turn that around, and then I'm going to score that at 2 1/2, at 3, 5 1/2 and 6 inches. Okay. I then want to use my bone folder to just burnish all of those score lines. Okay. If you do not have a bone folder, you can just use your fingers, but it won't give you quite such a crisp edge. But just use something smooth like that stamping block. Just make sure that you've got your edges lined up, and that will give you nearly as crisp a line as your bone folder does. Okay, I'll go back to my trusty bone folder for these ones. Okay, so we've got a piece that's 2 inches wide and 2 that are 2 1/2. So that is essentially the lid that's going to come over the front there like this. Okay, so I'm going to cut my tabs for the sort of base of the box, if you like. Just cut along there to that score line, right to the score line helps. Just didn't want to go too far. And then do the same on that one there. Okay, so you've now got that little tab there. I want to just chop a little wedge off either side of that little tab. Okay. I'm going to turn it around and do exactly the same on the other side. So right up to that score line, and again I'm going to just take a little wedge off either side. Don't take too much off because then you won't have enough to glue, but you just want to take that little slither so that you've got a little less bulk there. Okay, so back to having the lid at the top, back and front there. Okay, so this bit I want to cut along that score line right down to the first and then the second score line. Okay, so we've now got it looking like that. Okay, I'm just going to take that a tiny bit further. There we go. All right, then I'm going to take the long bit off. So just cut it at that score line, and then again take a little wedge off either side, like so. All right, and then I'm going to do exactly the same on this side. So straight down that score line to the first score line and then to the second score line. Okay, take that out of the way and then just chop along that score line there. Then little chop either side. All right, and that is our cutting done. You could choose to put your designer series paper on just now. Most of the pieces are non-directional, so it doesn't matter if you've got it upside down, or you can build it and then do that. Now this is an optional step for those that got the class in the mail. If you have the Very Best Trio punch, you can use that to take off on the smaller piece two of the corners, and then again this is your lid piece, so you're doing the same there and there. Okay, so that will then fit on like that, and the white piece, the longer white piece, you could do the same side and that one like so, and that will go on the inside there. Okay, so if you don't have this particular punch, you can either just use a corner rounder if you have one, or leave it as it is, or if you wanted to, now I'm going to show you on this one that I did earlier, you could measure, say, 1/2 inch either side and then chop that off, and then you can use that as a template for your other pieces. Like so. So it might not be quite so precise, but it does give you that extra little bit of detail on there. Okay, so let's get back to making this. I'm going to put my designer series paper on afterwards. So we have the inside of the box here, that is the outside. Actually, maybe if I put a piece of designer series paper on, that'll help show which is inside and which is outside. Okay, so this is foil on one side and matte on the other. So you could go use the matte if you wanted to. And it's so shiny, why wouldn't you use that? Super shiny. There we are. Okay. Right, so we now know that is the outside. So we've got the inside, and I want to put glue on these two little tabs here. This is a new bottle of glue. So it's going to come all out or nothing, eh? Right, so a little bit of glue all over those two tabs. Okay. I am now going to attach that onto there. So the tab is going on the inside of the box, and you're just bringing that round like that. Okay. Same with that one. Just get a nice square join and give it a wee hold. Okay. Now I want to put glue on the inside of these big long bits, the sides. And then I'm folding that over, and that comes round and forms our sides. Okay, so again, trying to make sure that we've got it all nice and lined up. Do the same on the other side. Just give that a moment. Okay, now these other two little tabs you're not gluing. You're just leaving them as they are, and that's just so that when you fold that over you don't have a gap there. You need to hold that for a moment longer. Patience is a virtue. Okay, right. I'll just add the designer series paper on now. So that goes in the middle with a similar sort of gap all the way around and as straight as you can. Okay, so we've got that there. Oh, it doesn't quite line up. Ah. Maybe if I turned it the other way around it would have. Doesn't matter. Okay, a little bit of glue on there. And again, this is an optional bit. I just think it looks a bit more finished when it's decorated front and back. Okay, and then the white piece that we chopped the corners off. You could stamp on this. I did on my original one. I'm not going to bother on this one. I'm going to leave plenty of room to write a little message to whoever is receiving this gift. Oops. And talking of the gift, let's just pop that little bar of chocolate in there. And if I had another gift card, I would pop that in there too. And there you go. We've got constructed the box and done most of the decoration. But as you can see, that's going to want to just flap. We need to control that. So the two pieces of white card, the one that has the tear and tape on it, I'm going to take the backing off that. Okay, and I'll pop that on there. Doesn't matter exactly where it is, you could put it there if you like. In fact, I found that was a little bit easier. Then take your ribbon and pop one of the ends on there. Try and get your ribbon straight in line, so your ribbon edge straight in line with the card there. Okay. wind that around, and then bring that back along. And again, this is where I found it was a little bit easier to do it at the edge there, and just bring that along. You can then slide that to wherever you want it to be. Okay, now for the sentiment, I have used Joy to You. Already got it mounted and kind of straight, hopefully. Time will tell. And I'm using Cherry Cobbler because that's the colour of the card that I've used, and that is the colour in that designer series paper. I'm inking this up and just checking that I've got good coverage on there. I like to use my grid mat to line that up so that that is straight, and I've already checked that that is straight. Just need to, it's kind of difficult for me to see, it's probably easier for you to see. I think that's straight. Let's go for it. And just give that a moment for the ink to transfer, because it's quite a bold font on there. Beautiful. Awesome. Right, put my ink pad out the way. And we need a few dimensionals for this. So I'm going to flip that over and pop dimensionals kind of nearer to the edge so that it's going to stick on card to card. And in the packs I've given you enough to put 6 on. Alright, take the backings off those. And if you find it difficult, a stabby tool is quite good. And especially if you do them all at once, because then you've got them piled up on there to put in your bin. Now, I want to line this up exactly with that. So, to help me get a little bit more wiggle room, I am adding a little bit of wet glue onto my dimensionals. Tiny bit. Bring this back down. And as I say, I want that to line up with the piece underneath it as close as I can. And there we go. One completed chocolate gift box that will also fit a gift card. As I say, you can stamp something else on there or just leave it blank as I have with this one to write your own little message on the inside. If you don't have this stamp, any kind of Christmassy stamp on there would look fabulous. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial, whether you are watching it just as one of my normal channel videos, or whether you've received my class in the post. Either way, if this is your first time visiting my channel, please do click on that subscribe button, click on the bell, and you'll get notification the next time I upload a tutorial. There will be a link to this instruction sheet in my blog post, and you will be able to find that link in the description for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Until the next time, take care. Bye bye.